Well, welcome to the podcast, everybody. What a weird day. We are a little crazy here. No, I didn't put the little card in it, so it's not going to record. So that's a whole nother issue. You know what I found interesting? We're doing this podcast for those of y'all just joining in for the first time, maybe. We're doing this whole podcast around the concept of fear not, stand firm. And kind of one of the things we decided as a church is that let's come together, let's have some conversations and realize that what God encourages us with is that we don't have to be the kind of people that live in fear, that we can trust Him, lean in on Him. And then as a result of that He enables us and gives us the ability to stand firm, to do what we can't do in and of ourselves. So we kind of said, let's do a podcast. Let's remind people of that weekly. But here's the big thing. What does it look like to stand firm in those circumstances? And so we're going to be talking about that this whole time during this podcast. Man, and we got some crazy stuff happening in the church. This has been just a roller coaster ride this week as some big things were explained. And so we're going to be talking about that today. And we're going to be, we got a couple of guests that we're going to be talking to, sharing a lot of stories. And as you probably already noticed, we had such a weird moment here just going live. And it's funny because we've been working on this all day. I'm trying to learn to do this where I can run it myself, which we are now figuring out that might not be possible, that I could ever do anything by myself. And, you know, my wife's told me that my whole life, but I'm starting to believe it because you get to this point and it's human error is what it does. And so we had to totally reboot the system right at 7:30 because we thought there was a problem. There wasn't a problem at all. It was, I'm an idiot, was the problem. So anyway, we're here and you guys are here and I hope you're planning on having a good time. We've got some people, I can't see the feed and what people are saying, but do we got some people chatting? We got some people on. If you're on, let us know. Say hello, do a wave, do a something. I don't even know what you do. Are y'all watching this on Facebook? We got some people thumbing up and everything. We got some people logging in. Fantastic. Somebody, yeah, you can't do that. I don't know if you know that. So my special guest here is a rookie. He's a rookie to the podcast world. And so Dave Thomas is not with us this week. So I went out and got a rookie that I feel like has got some skills. And so really excited to introduce him. And I got him some play song music. I got him a song. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hey, my special guest this week, if you didn't know it, his name is Ridge Thomas. And he is the student pastor here at Life Point. How you doing, Ridge?
I'm doing good. I'll start by saying I don't know about this song choice. Was I
like that music choice?
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad song, but it definitely doesn't sound like me.
What?
I mean, it's just an opinion. Did you pick that song?
I picked it.
Did you have any other options, or was this
See, I got this list. I made this list of songs. I said, which one would be good for Ridge, you know? And I said, oh, Ridge is, I mean, listen, here's why I got this one.
I want you to pick something else if you've got some more in the bag.
The reason I picked this one is that you don't have a lot of groove and funk, so you need a little bit. And I said, this is what he needs.
There's no groove or funk in this song.
That's what it kind of feels like. You don't like that? You don't like it? No. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll let you help pick it.
Okay.
I'll turn that one off. It's going to take me
So
once.
you're going to let me choose from some of the options that you had earlier, or is this going to be like just off the top of your head, or what?
Well, you have to give me 1 second. No, these are my options.
Okay.
I went to the site that we use because, you just can't play any song. Last week I got in trouble. I got some messages, I won't say from who, but from some upper-ups that said, stop playing people's music because we can get in trouble.
Don't have the rights to it.
Right. So we have a place that we do have rights to the songs, and I went on there. And that's where I got it. And give me just 1 second.
So now I'm going to get the chance to pick from it. I created a
list of favorites. I was going through and listening, and I went back and listened, and then I picked that one.
Okay.
So what I'll do, if you're interested, maybe this is a good little thing. This is not part of our merry-making funness, but maybe it should be. Should we move things around a second?
Can if you'd like.
Let me just.
Why not?
Well, hang on a second, folks. It looks like something's happened spontaneously. We're going into spontaneous combustion. Hang tight. All right. He pushed the button. He forced me to push the button.
We're doing
the magic button. We are officially into merry-making funness.
I love it.
Okay, this is
So what are we doing?
It's not what we have planned, but if we have time, we'll do both. So what I did was I pulled up my favorite list.
These are the song choices for my intro.
That I listened to over and over again and picked out that one. Okay. I'm going to let you hear what I was the choices I made.
Okay.
And then here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to let you pick it. I think
why would I not pick it if it's my song?
Because I'm going to let the people watching on Facebook and on YouTube let them
do a little crowd vote.
Crowd vote.
Okay.
What is the song? I'm making this up as we go, so I don't even have a tag for this. What is the song that would best represent Ridge Thomas?
Right. When you hear it, it makes
so when you come back again, this will be your new theme song. You're going to get to pick it. Here are the ones I came up with. Hang on one second.
Let's hear the options.
Well, I'm going to have to pull it up. Sorry about that. That's what we call dead time. Here we go. All right. Okay. Here's my
number
list.
one.
I already played you one of them, so I'm going to skip that one. Let's go to.
So option 1 in the comments if you like the one he's about to play.
The one. Well, okay, but don't forget the other one. We're calling that one Dark Dancer. Dark Dancer.
Okay. Was that an original name that you came up with?
No, that's the name that was given to it by whoever created it.
Okay, Dark Dancer is number 1.
It doesn't fit you, and it doesn't fit. Yeah. The name doesn't, but I felt the song might be something good for you. Okay, let's just move past that one.
Okay.
All right, so help us out.
Option number 2.
Here's number 2. Now this one's interesting. Let me tell you 2 reasons.
Cowbell there. I don't know about this one. Oh wow. Okay. Little casino vibe there.
Okay. Now listen. Here's how this one worked. The reason I picked this one is I thought the music had a good funk to it.
The music's very subpar.
I picked it more because of the name. I felt the name represented you well.
What's the title?
Cheap Treasures.
Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Cheap Treasures?
Well, I mean, you're a treasure.
I'm going to go grab like 6 friends, get a limousine, and go to Golden Corral to this song?
Correct. You're not like, you're a treasure, but I mean, you know.
A cheap treasure. A seashell, if you will.
Yeah, a seashell. Okay. That's good.
All right.
Something you could go down the beach and just pick up.
The song sucks. What else do you have?
You don't like that
else?
one? No, listen. I think it's a good one.
That one.
That's a cheap treasure. That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
You're not going to have anybody voting for cheap treasure.
All right. Let's go to the next one. Go to the next one. This is number 3.
Option number 3.
It's taking its time.
This is a little Wreck-It Ralph for me. A little.
Come on, that's a good
I feel
one.
like I'm stuck in like a Miss Pac-Man machine.
It's like
or something.
an 80s thing. Got an 80s groove to it. You know, and the reason. Let me tell you why I picked this one.
It's not as bad as the other 2.
Oh, Gina Keeley, she killed it. Gina, why'd you not post that on Facebook? Don't be sending me a text with that. She did post it. That's beautiful, Gina. Gina Keeley has one that I'm gonna try to do. I don't know if I'll be able to do it.
She picked a song for me?
Yes, but hang tight.
That
one is amazing. It's amazing.
Okay,
it's the best one yet.
I'll say this one is better than the other 2, but it's still pretty bad.
So that's song number 3. If you're interested in it, that's number 3.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Number 4.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Number 4. This is my favorite.
I feel like I'm in like a real live action Elf or something.
I like it.
Sugar Plum Fairy type thing here. I don't know if I was an elf or a gingerbread man.
That one's pretty good, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I have a thought.
Okay.
I didn't think about this before, but I'm going to use this somewhere. So we're not going to make that one of the options.
That's fine. Okay,
this
so that's
is not
out.
number 4.
You can't vote for the Sugar Plum Fairy.
No, I had an idea. I've got an idea what I'm going to do that one. And I'm going to use it today, but hang tight. Well, hang tight on that one. Okay. This might be my favorite.
Okay.
Here we go. Check this out. This is good.
Okay.
Come on.
Like we're about to go surfing?
Yes.
About to go grab a board?
Okay, listen. This is how it goes to me.
Okay.
Ridge and Chris are going to the beach.
Together.
Wow.
Okay.
On a board.
I don't want to be on a board with you, but
not the same board.
Not the same board. Different boards.
Different boards in the water.
Wow.
Come on, that's a good song.
The song itself was great.
The beach.
Now it's a country song.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's a beachy song. I don't know. I like it.
The song itself I liked. The lyrics were very questionable. So that's just an opinion from me. But the song itself I liked. So if we were maybe not going to use your lyrics over top of it.
So that was what song number what?
I think that was 5.
That was 5.
He said 4 can't be chosen though.
The 4 is out, but that was number 5. Number 6, and we're coming down to the last 2.
Last 2 options. I need these. This reminds me of like George Lopez. You remember that show?
Yeah, but I didn't watch that show. I'm gonna be honest with you. No. I
it's a good show.
I really didn't know anybody watched it.
Oh, come on. I guarantee you
I
people
bet
that
you
are
it didn't
watching
have-
this
how
watch
many
George
seasons?
Lopez.
How many seasons?
What are you asking me? How many seasons I watched?
No, how many seasons even exist on the George Lopez?
I guarantee you people commenting right now have seen, and of course
No,
they watch
you're
George
wrong.
Lopez.
5 people.
No. I mean, the song's not very
It's an
good.
interesting song.
How did
I
you
like that
pick
one.
these
Come on,
choices?
I
Was
like
this
that
like
one.
the
I like that
clearance
one.
section of the website? Like,
This
how
your
did you
last
find
chance.
these?
Last chance. Ready?
Okay.
And our guest should be checking out the comments. You've been watching it.
This one's
Number
like
6. I love this one.
Dollywood, or I don't know what. Like, I don't know.
No. Here it is. Hey, welcome, boys and girls, to the Tweetsy Railroad.
All
Today,
aboard.
all aboard the train as we're going to go out to
Oh,
see
man.
Roscoe.
Yeah, that's
And his devilish partner.
In all seriousness, I don't know
It's
how.
a bear. It's a dog.
Wow.
Used to be, they would have like cowboys and Indians and stuff, but that's can't do that now.
I don't know how you pick these, but
It's a great one. I like that one a lot. So number 6 is that fits you too. I mean, because you're a goober.
I'm not denying that
Right?
I'm a goober, but I mean, I don't think I'm Woody from Toy Story either.
Well,
I don't know.
okay,
I don't
okay.
The choices.
So
man.
real quickly, we'll go back. Here are your choices.
Gosh.
Number one is what we started with.
Again,
Remember that? Number 1.
gosh, I'm actually kind of liking one after hearing the rest of the choices. I'm not gonna lie.
Number 2 was sorry. Push the wrong button.
Number 2 was
Sorry. It was this one.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. It does sound like they would play that.
Number
in the title
3
credits.
was Cheap Treasure.
the
Was that number
name.
2? Oops.
Cheap Treasure. Well, they're gonna know to comment Cheap Treasure.
Yeah, you put Cheap Treasure.
It just
And then we
sounds
did this
so-
one that is banned. 4's banned.
Sugar Plum Fairy.
Sugar Plum Fairy. There you go.
I'm naming these my
I
own.
like it. You're doing good.
Yeah.
Number 5. The one I really like.
This was the
That's a great
surfboard one.
Surfboard. Number
The
5.
music on that one's solid, but
Solid.
you just had to sing over it.
I know, but it's good. Let's listen to it for 1 second.
I like it.
All right, and then
Okay.
so that's number 5. Number 6,
George Lopez.
George Lopez. Number 6.
Yeah.
Oh, that is it. Low Rider. That's Low Rider.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. Low
It's
Rider.
the knockoff version of it. The royalty-free lowrider right
Okay,
there.
last one.
Oh,
We'll call this a Tweetsy Railroad.
No, dude.
Tweetsy Railroad. Ride a train.
Tweetsy Railroad.
Come on, boys and
I
girls.
just don't know
let's
how that one.
all
In all
aboard
seriousness,
Tweetsy
I don't know how
Railroad.
that one made the list.
Hey,
I have no
listen,
clue.
Sheriff Ridge. If we listen real
getting weird.
carefully, we'll see Sheriff Ridge
I don't
out
like
on
that.
the on the trail.
People are now logging
Look,
off.
there he is. He's on a horse. Hey, it's
Wow.
Sheriff Ridge and his little gang boy. Boys over there.
Oh man, we need like an explosion sound on the soundboard.
All right, it's enough of that.
That's insane.
All right, so here we go. Here's what we're gonna do. You guys start messaging in. Our guest is watching. I'm watching the chats on YouTube over here on the big screen. If I can get my cursor over there, and I don't know where the cursor is.
Those songs were hard, man. That was tough.
There it is. I don't see any chats over
not
on
good.
YouTube. I'll be honest with you. I don't see anything. What is going on?
YouTube's not as chat friendly as Facebook.
Yeah.
my opinion.
So I'm going to go ahead and bring our guest on early, so that we can get them involved in this process, because I
Yes.
feel like they might have an opinion, and then we're going to talk about how we're going to judge this, which I'm not sure of. But let's get their opinion on it. So everybody, I would like to introduce to you. Let me see if I can get my cameras right here. This is a
Special guest.
Yeah, we're changed things up a little bit, so you got to be patient with us. So check this out.
Special guest with special song. Okay, the Sugar Plum Fairy song.
Look what it says. It's saying Emily on that one. I meant to put the. Hold on. How about that right there? There we go. Here it is. Special guest, everybody.
Hey, there we go.
It's Emily Seaman, our family pastor. She's going to join us
There we
today. I think that's a good one for you.
It is it is nice.
Sorry, now you can hear her now. Sorry.
It's not letting me speak.
You're live now.
Here I am. I could handle some elf-tastic.
It is
intro
very
music.
elfish.
That was good.
I like
It
that.
felt very happy, and you're a happy person,
that
and
feels
you're
like
chipper.
me.
The whistle at the end was cool. I didn't get that far into it
we
the first
didn't.
time.
We did
was
it
good.
all the way through on hers. So Emily, you've been listening in on this spontaneous
Soundtrack.
So we just spontaneously changed it up. I had another question that we were going to do today, but this has been fun. I'm having a good time with this one. As people responding, they have opinions. I got one more.
They do have opinions. They do.
Okay, start sharing what you're hearing.
I will say,
See what they're saying.
Sadly, most of the opinions are, is this all we have to choose from?
Wow.
That's what people think as
So,
well?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of the consensus. I
terrible.
think people are struggling to even make a choice between those options.
I just can't believe that you picked those.
I got one more.
guess-
This one was recommended by somebody.
This is
I'm
Gina?
gonna see if this works. I pulled it up and it's I'm just now listen. I don't know what's getting ready to happen.
Gina's
I'm gonna
trying to
push
save
play
me.
on a video. Well, it's not saving you, my friend.
No.
No?
It's really not.
IDD Digital gives you access to our
Sorry,
premium
it's gonna
An
play a
advertisement.
commercial,
Right
of
now.
course, because I did a YouTube song.
Come
Sorry.
on.
Here it is. Here it is. Do you know what this is?
I gotta listen for a second. This is the heard this for sure.
You have heard this.
I have heard this.
Very critical in your life.
Ridge.
This is the Bold and the Beautiful
Bold and the
soundtrack.
beautiful
Get outta
soundtrack.
here.
It is.
The
He is
Bold and the
named
Beautiful.
after. He's named after Ridge on the Bold and the
I'm
Beautiful.
sitting there wondering
Gina
where I've heard
should
that.
get a special prize for that one
She
because that's
sure
good.
It was.
That's brilliant.
Thanks, Gina.
But we're not
You
going
and Chris are the
We
worst.
can't use that one. I don't think. Well, I don't know. That's awesome.
I'm sitting there wondering where I've heard that song, and it's like ingrained in my mind from being a
know.
little kid walking around the house.
Yes. While your
Namesakes.
mom was watching the Bold and the
Soap
Beautiful.
opera namesake.
So okay, keep going, Emily.
Okay,
Share
I'm
with us what you're hearing.
seeing, I would say the most Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It
But
Ralph was
maybe
good.
a close second would be
Wreck-It Ralph.
the title is really what makes this so funny, and I think it must have come from Shannon, our communications. She titled the surfboard song "On a Board ... Different Board," which is pretty funny.
On a board. ...
On a different
board.
I like that one.
So
That'll
that
work.
looks like that might be rolling in.
So
in
y'all
second.
keep commenting, keep sharing with us what your opinion
Wow.
is. At the end, we will share with you which is
Which
the
song
winner.
won.
But feel free to keep doing it. We'll do this one more time. We've been
Play
having a
the
good time.
winning
I don't
song.
know if we have time. How far into this are we? And we already started
To do
late.
the question.
So we're we man.
You got time to fire it off quick. You just got to be quick with it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We're I'm trying to see what our timestamps are on our thing. I got to go back up. Why is it
The
not
technical
showing?
difficulties giving us the late
I mean,
start
most
hurt.
people are pretty used to you going over, so I think that's okay.
We got a guest heckler in
We got a heckler.
the room right here. Wow.
Listen, if the
So-
shoe fits.
10,
good.
man. We're supposed to be starting.
Well, now you've done wasted the time. Let's
I know.
go.
All right, all
Ask
right.
the
hold on.
question.
I'm going to ask the question because if you want to do this, feel free. It's a fun one. So here we're going to get straight into it. Let me share with you this story. So I'm on a plane, and maybe I don't need to show that yet. I'm on a plane,
Okay.
right? And I've been on a plane a lot, and so different things happen. Like some planes have the dip, and sometimes, weird noises.
Right.
Always, you ever notice like on a plane, there's like stuff going on below you, like, and you always like freaks. People get freaked out, especially when I'm with people that don't fly a lot. They start going, "Wow." Here's why
Freaks you
I
out
don't
a little
panic. The reason I don't panic, I have a rule, and my rule is I always look to a stewardess or to a pilot and see how they're reacting.
And that's how you gauge whether or not you're going to freak out.
Yes, if they panic, I panic.
So you look at the flight attendant. As long as they're
Correct.
cool, you're cool.
Correct.
I feel
Okay.
ya.
So here's basically the question: What is your flight attendant? Now I'm
Oh.
gonna go a little bit further with it, and put it on the screen to ask it
Okay.
this way: when do you reach the point that you panic? What is that thing that lights your boat? Who helps you to realize, I should panic?
Okay.
Or what has to happen in the world that you go, okay, we're in trouble? And I'm doing
Okay.
this kind of Corona-esque, but
Right.
it doesn't have to be just Corona-esque. But in light of Corona, my answer, I'm going to give mine. I want y'all to give one too,
Okay.
because I did think about this. My answer is I've been watching some of the press conferences that the president and his team's doing, and
Right.
then I've been watching some newscast with this guy Fauci. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. He's the like the dude
The
who's
doctor.
the Dr. Fauci,
Right.
and he's like a little guy.
Yep.
Right.
But that dude is like as flatline as you can get. I'm not even sure
Right.
he's alive anymore. I mean, he's like so
He's
like
like a-
He's seen too much.
He has, and he's like whatever. And it doesn't seem like he's phased at all. Everybody's panicking. He's like, take a chill pill. When Fauci, if I see him have a heartbeat, if his heart starts beating and he elevates his voice
Okay.
to any level, I am going to go into the bunker. I am going to start hoarding. I am going to pull out all the ammunition, the guns, and I'm getting ready for a bad time.
So if he's freaking out, you're freaking out.
He freaks out, I freak out. First of all, I don't know if
Okay.
he's capable of doing that. I've
Okay.
got all kind of thoughts on that. I'll be careful what I say. So that's mine. What's yours,
Okay.
Rich Thomas?
I'm gonna say, in the spirit of my wrestling roots, I'm gonna say Vince McMahon.
Oh my God.
So wait a minute. Vince
Vinnie
McMahon,
Mac, now let
the
me
president
talk,
of the
let me explain it.
WWE.
Yeah, if he freaks out, I'd freak out.
Okay.
Now keep in mind, WrestleMania was like last weekend, and it still happened. And
they
I'm like,
don't-
if they still had WrestleMania, then
That is a good
we'll
point.
be all right.
That is a good point. See, I'd love to know what Heath Slater thought about that.
We should ask him. He could call in.
He lets us know. He's been around Vince. Has he seen
Yeah.
him nervous?
This is true. There's
My
thought
zero
is-
sporting events right now, but
No sporting,
WrestleMania.
but
we're
WrestleMania.
doing it.
That is funny. The only
We're doing
sporting
it.
event on the
Without
planet,
hesitation.
other than the little online virtual stuff.
Well,
That's not a sport.
I know. Agree.
yeah.
Agreed.
Contact sports.
There you go.
It's happening.
All right, Emily. I'm really curious about yours. So I've got Fauci. He's got the WWE.
Vinnie Mac.
What's going to make you panic? When do you panic?
You know, that's a great question. It doesn't probably take a whole lot for me to get there. In the serious realm, I have a doctor friend of mine that I go to, but in this particular crisis,
Yes.
COVID-19, I'm pretty embarrassed to admit this, but when I had an appointment to get my hair highlighted,
All right.
Okay.
March 28th, and my hairdresser called me on, I don't know, a week before that and said, I'm closing. I got to tell you, I was
Wow.
panicked. I was
Wow.
in a
That was it. You're in the bunker, shutting the doors.
I'm so sorry, that's so vain. That's so vain.
Get the toboggan out. Life's over.
And to really,
So first of all, we just realized you color your hair.
well,
So
the
what
thing
color is your hair?
is,
Wow,
You don't go there. Okay. I'm
the
not asking
thing
that.
is, I
Idiot.
I
That
got
wasn't a good question, was it?
so panicked that I did like the no-no of all no-nos in hair. And
Okay.
I went to the drugstore and bought boxed hair
Oh.
dye. And I dyed my own hair.
Did it yourself.
DIY.
That's desperation right there.
Yeah. Ladies
That's going
out
into
there,
the bunker.
show some support. You know this is true panic. When you get to this point, you
Dye
dye
your
your
hair.
own hair. It did not turn out great.
So it didn't go
the
good.
first go round.
So how would you describe the results of it?
Yellowish orange was probably the
Okay.
best
Orange. That's a great
choice
color.
of color.
So let me
if
ask you this: which is worse, the fact that the hairdresser canceled the appointment, or the fact that you had yellowish, orangish, purplish hair?
It's pretty close. I mean,
Both are bad.
Both are bad. Both are really bad. It's that hashtag COVID made me do it. Lots of us have that now.
Hashtag. Just
COVID
casually
made me
throws
do
a
it.
hashtag in there.
Hashtag
A verbal
COVID.
hashtag.
I've decided that's
I
a
haven't heard
thing.
anybody. Well, it was
That's
just
a
hashtag
thing.
COVID made me do it. Okay.
So if you
Boxed
go
hair.
back and like think about videos I've been in, I had a hat on for a couple weeks. In
How
those
about that?
videos.
How about
I
that?
did notice
True.
that you were wearing those hats. And
I didn't think anything weird of it though.
Well,
A couple boxes later,
Thought it
I
was a little
called to
weird.
my hairdresser some toning of the yellow. and
the way I
feel
thought of
pretty
it was,
good
I was
about
like,
it.
oh, she doesn't mind wearing a hat. She'll just have a hat on anywhere. Oh, she's in the middle of a really important interview with her husband for the whole church about COVID-19, and she's got a hat on. That's
People
how
are sitting there watching.
That's how serious
It
she's
must be
taking it.
yellow hair.
Yeah,
That's
it
probably
wasn't
what it was.
that serious of a video.
Every girl going, oh, she colored her hair. Look at her putting a hat on.
The
Or
men
she
had
cut
no
it
idea.
herself.
They didn't think anything of
No,
it. The
she's
women.
like, that girl just throwing on a hat.
It
she
must
just
be
don't
yellow
care.
hair.
From now on, every time I wear a hat, people are gonna be like, "Uh oh, hair
Yellow hair.
crisis." You're a crisis.
All right.
Hashtag
So what?
COVID made me do it.
When will you panic? When will you panic? What has to happen for you to panic? We want to hear yours. Do we have anybody already posting anything there, Miss Emily?
I like Danny Serrano. He says, "I tell my kids, if I panic, you panic."
Yeah, that's a good point.
That is a good answer.
That's a good dad to kids.
That is a good answer.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of action on the YouTube. There's not a lot of people commenting over there. But
I
feel
don't think
free.
that most people comment stuff on YouTube
they
live
not?
Well,
stuff.
they know we're gonna say it. Maybe they're
Yeah.
nervous. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, don't be
Facebook.
Facebook it is then. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to give somebody a chance, somebody brave enough to get on
There you go.
the podcast over there and share. So, okay, that's great. We'll see what some of your responses are. We'll read those towards the end. And if somebody wants to keep up with that for us, that would be amazing. I still got, it's funny because I got the Bold and Beautiful over here still up on my phone. All right, we're going to transition. Man, we have got a lot of great stuff that we're getting ready to share with you.
Absolutely.
And this is my favorite part. This is one of the main reasons we do this. Let's get ready for good news.
Right.
Yeah, so this whole segment here, the reason we come up with the good news is in the world today, there's already plenty of bad news out there. And if you're watching the media and stuff, they're sharing all kind of crazy stuff that's happening. And so I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if we just take time to talk about some of the good things that are happening?
I like it.
And so, and this week of all weeks, you want to talk about insane. I mean, we had some really crazy stuff that was announced this week, and we've already started putting it into effect. And me and my team have been super, super busy executing what I'm getting ready to share with you. So without further ado, let me just take a second to explain to you what's going on in a video that Pastor Nate did. Pastor put out, this is not the whole video if you want to see it. Just go to the Facebook page, scroll down, look for the video that he did that was put out yesterday morning. But here is a clip from it explaining what the church decided to do just this week and that we're already in the process of doing. Take a look at this video.
We are starting the LifePoint Care Initiative. The LifePoint Care Initiative, let me tell you a little bit about what that is. LifePoint has decided that we are going to set aside, designate $50,000 from our savings account as a church to immediately help families in need. That's right, you heard that correctly. This $50,000 care initiative is really going to go towards two things. There's two tiers. Like I said, the first tier is we want to help families right now. Those of you that specifically, here's who is eligible for this. Those that have either lost their job or you've experienced a significant reduction in your income. We want to come around you during this season and we want to help you. We just think it would be such an honor for you to allow us to maybe pay your mortgage or your rent for a month up to a certain amount, or maybe we make a car payment or help you with groceries. But the first tier of the LifePoint Care Initiative is to help our families right here at LifePoint who are going through a hard time. The second tier that the LifePoint Care Initiative is going to allow us to do is going to allow us to help give financially to some of our local partners, specifically the Rock Hill Children's Attention Home. That right now, because of COVID-19, they had to cancel their largest fundraiser, and so we as a church are going to step in the gap for such a time as this to give back to them, to let them know that we love them and we're here for them.
Wow.
Yes. I didn't know exactly when I was going to cut, so I would have had this button pushed quicker.
Incredible.
But isn't that great?
Unbelievable.
$50,000. I love the fact that we're part of a church that that really has a heart for doing something like this. And so, as he said, we're asking folks that in two different ways, and I'll go ahead and put this up as well. If you have questions or if you are, and it would, is this right? No, that's not right.
No.
Sorry, I'm just. There it is.
Technical difficulty. Hey,
So that's the two. That's what Nate mentioned. Help at lifepointcc.com or text CARE to that number on the screen, which is 803-373-7665 if you're listening to this on a podcast format. So the thinking behind this is let us know. There's a ton of folks. What the reason this came about, we've started this podcast for this very reason, to try to rally the church around some needs. And you guys have been stepping it up and doing a lot of stuff. But we realized as we started talking to people and stuff like that, man, the need is great. And
yes,
we you know, it's weird because the church is just been amazing. The giving has always been good here. People have always been faithful. And just as much as I say that, let me say this too, is the leadership here is pretty amazing. I remember a few years ago, we were, things were a little tight financially, not because giving was not good. It's just, we were, haven't taken some steps that we need to take. And we said, let's create an emergency fund. And we did. And within a year, we had met that emergency fund need. And so in the middle of this crisis last week, it was funny because we're going, this would be an emergency. And emergency isn't just about meeting the needs of paying the bills and stuff here. It's also to help our people.
Isn't that great?
And so we said, let's do it. Let's leverage $50,000 to make this happen. And so we literally that day got busy. I'd already put together a team, some key people in the church we've been collecting information and collecting who, but there are so many things going on that I can't communicate all of them. I do want to take just a few minutes to share some of them. And then I got a special guest I'm going to get on the line. One of our challenges last week, they're going to help us to not just do that challenge, but to way exceed that challenge. So I want to talk about that in 1 second. But before I do, I just wanted to share a couple of cool things that are going on of what is actually going on here at Life Point. So ever since we did that, people, our list, and we keep an ongoing list. We created this document, and people are volunteering to run errands. That I don't even know what the number's up to now. It's like 20, 25 different families or individuals that are willing to run errands. We got people who are bringing donations. We got folks that are helping in a lot of different ways. And then what's happened is, and I can't share all these today. I'm going to save them for next week. And I'm going to be preaching coming up here soon. And I've got a story that is bubbling and developing. It's not quite there yet. And I don't even want to share it because I want to share the whole story all at once. But it is crazy, crazy cool. And so I'm going to save those. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that are happening right now. And I got a picture that I created with just some of these photos here on the screen. These are just some of the photos. Listen, I got so many, I couldn't even get them all in here. I didn't even know how I would display them all. So what we're going to do is we're going to unleash some of these on our Facebook page little by little. Our communications director, Shannon Roberts, is going to be posting some of the different things and some of the cool things that are happening. But these kind of represent a few different things that are going on. And as a matter of fact, Ridge, don't let me forget when I get done with this. Let's talk about toilet paper. All right, don't let me forget. I want to talk about toilet paper.
I remember.
So on the screen, you see different kind of pictures. So one of those pictures in the bottom left on my screen, I guess that'd be bottom left on yours too, but it shows two guys at Jersey Mike's. So one of our life groups helped out a assisted living facility and made 45 meals. So the life group came together. They were going to get the meals. They called Jersey Mike. Jersey Mike said, hey, let us help. And they donated a portion of that to make that possible. And so, one, kudos to Jersey Mike's for being a part of the solution. But kudos to this life group for meeting that need. You remember we've been asking for sanitizer and wipes and stuff like that, and that has been coming in. But we had a teacher who has creatively I won't go into too many details because I don't know if it's legal or not. No, I'm just kidding. It's completely legal. It just sounded funny because I was being covert there. But no, they went out.
Never stopped you before.
It was just what happened was but seriously, she just went out and started running down a ton, and you can see in the back seat of that car all that hand sanitizer, the wipes that are there, and we have a huge list. We're not meeting all of it, but here is what we did do. And you can see some of this stuff also. We'll post some of it because the one that has the nurses holding up the thumbs, believe it or not, at a hospital, an ER, they ran out of the sanitary wipes. So they were using like towels and stuff like that they had sanitized with bleach and stuff to do the wiping down. So they were in need. So you can see we brought a lot of wipes to them, and they were thrilled. And several messages and emails from them thanking us and how happy they were with it. We dropped off a bunch of hand sanitizer to Fort Mill EMTs, and you can see a post that they talked about that as well. I think that they told us that what we gave them should get them through this crisis.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
So that's pretty awesome. And we dropped it off some other places. That's not all of them. We also helped out a lady in our church who's a home health worker, her team. that has to go into the homes and stuff and still take care of people who are completely out of a lot of different things. And we took them stuff. We have taken the pictures of the folks up there, and there's many, many more. I couldn't get them all on here, but like I said, we'll post some of them. We have folks, these are the people that are picking up and running errands to people's houses and dropping off groceries. We're taking gift cards to those people. We have several families and stuff that are in crisis, and we have been taking them cards and dropping those off. And this team has been doing that. Terry Coobs is, and I'm going to get her on here one day, but she's super, super busy running all of this stuff. And literally, it's what we do a lot most of the days.
She's unbelievable.
And just identifying the need, taking the cards. So we have our teams, our errand runners. We've now established different people in the area who have the resources that they go to their place, get the stuff, and go deliver. It's just an amazing system that I just can't say enough about how proud I am of LifePoint and for them stepping up. And it's not just LifePoint. When people do good things, when good news happens, it spreads. And that's what we're starting to see happen. Other companies, and again, there's a story that's unfolding that's going to involve somebody in the church that ended up, some of our partners, one of those being the Children's Attention Home, Harris Teeter, and this mission out of Shelby, North Carolina. All of these people that are coming together to do something pretty amazing. And I'm just blown away by it. I don't know if y'all have had a chance yet, because I know this has been kind of my area and my team. I don't know if you guys have had a chance yet to fill it out, but feel free to share that. Y'all have any stories yourself?
Man, I tell you, it's almost overwhelming hearing all the different things, because I think maybe one of the things that gets overlooked is just people serving with their time, you know? I mean, like you said, people running errands for different people and filling out thank you cards for, different people that are working, their tails off in the medical field and putting their families at risk to serve others. So it's just humbling. There's so many different ways to serve and give.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just financially. So I just think it's really cool to hear of different ways to do that.
Kudos to all them people.
Absolutely.
We haven't used our sound effect, but kudos
Incredible.
to everybody and what y'all are doing, y'all at LifePoint. And listen, there's still time for you to do that. There's a couple of cool things that are coming up that you can be a part of. So let me go back and talk about the $50,000. That number doesn't have to be the bottom number. First of all, we've been talking about our challenge. We're trying to raise $2,500 in gift cards, and we're not there yet. I think we're somewhere around $1,000 in gift cards, and much of which has already been distributed to people in different needs. So let's keep that going, because I feel like we can still get another $1,500 here.
Absolutely.
So that's one way that you could participate. That is a low hurdle for some of us to participate in that. And then the way to make that 50,000 even bigger as well is this coming Sunday, you have a chance. We're doing a giving challenge, if you will. Any money that comes in over our budget need, 100% of that is also going to go on top of this $50,000. So this number could grow tremendously, I hope.
So awesome.
This Sunday, on Easter Sunday. So if there was ever a time that you were going to give, if you're consistently in giving, just make sure that you make that contribution this week and help that number be an incredible number.
And that's so Easter, right?
Oh, yeah.
What could be more celebratory than celebrating Jesus giving his life than us coming together and giving for people that are in need right now? So that's great, man.
It's the church being the church, what God called us to, taking care of each other.
Yeah, and I want us to all be creative. I want us to think outside the box a little bit, and that's where my next guest is going to come into play, and I'm going to pull him up right now. Let me go ahead and call our guest and get him on the line. And while he's getting on the line, so some of the things that, hey, Matthew, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. One of the things, Matthew, I was just saying, and then I'm going to bring you in on this part of the conversation, is what's cool about what's happening in the church is people are starting to think creatively about how can I help during this crisis. And I think in my mind, that's what has to happen. This story that's brooming has about 4 or 5 elements to it that are people that are thinking outside of the box. Matthew Savoy, our guest today, and let me pull up your picture here and your family. And I'm perfect. That picture placement could not have been better. Matthew, you can't see it, but it is completely covering
I'm starring
Ridge
as you
Thomas
right now, Matthew.
Man, that's just, I wish I'd have done that on purpose, because that would have felt even better. But covering you up, Ridge, it was a blessing. Everybody was like, please cover him up. Sorry, Matthew. I digress. Matthew, why don't you introduce your family, and then I'm going to share, talk a little bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So Matthew Savoy and beautiful wife Amanda Savoy and two awesome kids, Ian and Emma. We love coming to Life Point. We've been coming since 2016. We moved down to Fort Mill in 2015, and had got an opportunity to work at Shutterfly, and been enjoying that. And really been digging Life Point for the last 4 years, and just love what's going on there.
Yeah, and Matthew is a creative person. He is one of the few people that his hobbies and interests are a little unusual. So many of the things that you see at Life Point that happens on the stage, oftentimes Nate comes up with some really weird, crazy ideas that we all go, dude, you're on drugs. Seriously, you need to get into counseling. And he says, no, I think we could do it. And he says, Matthew Savoy, he can do it. And like a lot of these things that are built on the stage, because you have at your house what, Matthew? What special device did you decide to get as a toy?
I have a CNC router that allows me to be really creative and
So casual.
enables me to
So casual. He's
make
insanely talented.
a bunch of cool things. I have a laser on it now, so that's allowing me to do some different things as well. But yes, I've been blessed to have a couple opportunities to help Nate with the mixtape relational pyramid. That was a lot of fun, and that was a challenging project. But also the giving example last year with the 3 boxes, social, spiritual, and
I remember they kind of had like springs or
Giving,
something,
right?
like
And
pushed down. It was super cool.
yeah.
I remember
they all
that.
kind of nested down and pushed down, showing the weight that we give by putting all of our focus on our lifestyles. Right, it really puts all the pressure on the giving, and I thought that was a really powerful. It was a crazy idea, as Chris mentioned, that Nate had. We sat down at Starbucks and talked about it, and I didn't know how it was going to work, but I think it ended up pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
You didn't mention the amazing Discovery Point sign that you created.
Yeah, a lot
that was
of that.
fun
Yeah.
too. The Discovery Point logo right over the right in the lobby there. That was a lot of fun.
So good.
Yeah, this is normally what businesses purchase to do business. And Matthew Savoy is the kind of guy who goes, no, I need that to just make some fun stuff.
It's awesome though, man.
So he's building a bunker and going to build all of his own stuff in that bunker.
It's actually big enough to house all of Life Point. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
announcement tonight.
So here's what I wanted to talk about just a little bit. It is feeling weird. Cameron, can you adjust the camera so that Ridge is in it? I feel a little awkward. I feel bad, and we can't get him and Emily closer, or they'll violate laws and be ticketed.
COVID laws.
COVID laws.
COVID made me do it.
So here's what I want to do. The reason I asked Matthew to be on here is Matthew thinking outside of the box. I just thought this was really, really awesome. He contacts me about something he thought of, and I got some examples of it, but this is just a small thing that is really kind of a cool big thing. Matthew, would you share with us kind of what your idea was?
Yeah, sure. So, like I mentioned, I work at Shutterfly, and I'm a manufacturing engineer on our process innovation team. And one of my roles is to test new equipment, new workflows, and new products that we're intending to launch. And we're intending to launch a new paper stock for our foil card offerings. And so this testing was already in motion. And generally speaking, when we test these new products and new equipment, a lot of the product just ends up getting disposed of or recycled. But, I had an idea this time to make usable products that can be donated, right? So we made fairly generic thank you cards and teacher appreciation cards that we can distribute to our different office locations. Each office location has a Shutterfly Foundation that partners with local businesses and organizations. And so we thought if we can print and distribute these cards to our local offices, we can get them in the hands of others to help spread appreciation for what people do in their daily lives, right? And on top of that is donating these thank you cards and teacher appreciation cards to the schools so that the students, and probably more importantly, the parents can spread some love on the impact that our teachers have on our children's lives, right? I think everybody should have a greater appreciation of that now since we're all in a homeschooling state, right?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so, and then listening to the podcast last week, you mentioned the need for thank you cards. And since this testing was already in motion, I said, hey, Chris, I already got these cards printed or in the process of being printed. I'd love to be able to just give them to the church so people could come and pick them up in bundles and take them home, get the whole family involved in writing thank you notes to those on the front lines helping out during this crisis and turn them back into the church so they can be distributed.
And that's and it's crazy thinking I have a handful of these. I say a handful. I mean, it's a lot. And these are just some of them. I've got more here, more down there, that he's already dropped off, and we'll be dropping off some more. And there's different kinds.
They're beautiful too, man.
Yeah, they're just,
they look
the
awesome.
quality's
Yeah, thank you.
amazing.
So nice.
And I'm holding a few of these up. I think we can do that. A few more here. Oh, this is a cool one. Check that out. Thanks a bunch, bananas.
I love too that they're in the little bundles. So like you said, you get the
Pre-bundled.
family together and fill them out. And
Yeah, you can't tell that so much on the screen, but there's a bundle here like that. And
Yeah, there's I gave you 5 in a bundle there in each of the bundles. So,
Perfect.
so what's going to happen is we're going to start putting these out at the collection area out front. And you can swing by Monday through Thursday, 9 to 1, and pick these up. And pick a bundle, however many you think you and your family would like to do, and then you can return them. And so this makes it even easier for you and your family. It doesn't require paper anymore. All it requires is you have a pen that will write in your time.
that's it.
And we are close to 1,000 cards already. But I would like for it to be a stupid number, and there's no reason that we
Right.
can't do this. This is doable.
Absolutely.
And so would you please consider, and listen, I'll tell you this, I think I could say this, our errand team, it's large. If you can't get out and you're saying, I want to do this, but I can't get out, I'm stuck, please let me know. Email us at help, and go back to that slide there for 1 second. Email us at help@lifepointcc.com. Don't do the text to care. That's only for assistance, but the help is a little bit of everything. You email us, let us know that you would like to do it, but you can't get out to get it, and we'll have somebody drop it off. Just let us know how many you want, and we'll drop it off. You can fill it out, and we'll have somebody stop back by and pick them up. And Matthew, I can't thank you enough for your creativity. You're thinking outside of the box. I want that to inspire everybody that's listening to what can you do. It's not, that is what good news is. It's God has placed us specifically in different places, and Matthew there at Shutterfly happened to be working on a new machine, and he has the ability to create this stuff and to give it away, and that's the way he thought creatively. Well, what can you do to be a part of this solution and helping it out? Matthew, again, thank you so much for being a part, and kudos to you and what you guys are doing there at Shutterfly and allowing us to be a part and being a part of this whole process. We do certainly appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
So cool.
Thanks, Matthew.
thanks, guys. Thanks for the time. Hey, I got an idea for you, Chris.
Oh, hit me.
Whatever entrance song for Ridge gets the top votes, that should be played the next time he comes on stage to preach when we can join again.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Oh,
Matthew, I'm sorry we didn't hear that. We were breaking up, but
you
thanks
sounded
so much,
clear.
man.
I am
Well-
feeling that.
Sorry, my man, but we have to do it.
You're the man, Matthew.
I'm going to have to do this. So what was your pick, Matthew?
Ooh.
What was yours? And if your family's participating?
This so much, I'm going to have to go with number 1.
The first one, the original.
No.
See, I tell you, it's not that bad.
The
It's
song
pretty
is
good.
cooler than me. That's the problem. But
It's
Matthew,
good.
There it is.
No, you got to do
It
the one to the beach on a board, different board.
Me
I'm
and
a fan
Chris
of
are
that
gonna
one.
ride out on stage.
I'm a fan of that
So
one.
great.
That was probably my favorite.
The title made it.
I think so.
Dot, dot.
Me and you
Separate
on
board
a
or
board,
whatever.
but not the same.
Not the same board.
And that's really important information. It's the key. It's the key part of that whole story. Hey, Matthew, thank you. Thank you for that input. So we have a vote for that, and we'll make that keep going. You have a great night.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you, my friend.
Good night.
Good night. Pretty cool. Again,
So cool,
kudos to him. Kudos to that whole team, what they're doing.
So creative.
It is. And hopefully people will start stepping up. And that leads to a very important thing as we're going to transition here in 1 second. But let's go back to our 5 ways. We've tried to keep this super simple. There's 5 ways that you can help. And I've got it on the screen. We've been posting it on Facebook. We've been talking about it quite a bit, but please look at this. You can donate and help with medical supplies. And again, there's a link. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Shannon's going to be posting that right now as we're talking. A link that you can go to that will list in more details about some of these things if you're curious about what that looks like. I do know this. There has been a movement, and a couple places are requesting and looking for masks. They are transitioning to needing masks, and they are actually looking for people to make masks. So some of you that were interested, we will help you to get those to the right place. Now, if you're making masks, let us know. And again, you can just email us at help. If you have questions about how to do that, help@lifepointcc.com. If you have questions about how to do that, we can get that to you as well. I'm not sure it's on the link, but we might can get it on the link if it's not there. But make sure you do that. We are looking for that. And again, especially hand sanitizers, wipes, those kind of things are big. Donate gift cards. Again, our goal is $2,500, and I will update that this week. It has just been, honestly, I'm not lying to you when I say it's been a whirlwind this week of activity, and it's hard to kind of do everything, but we're going to get that number. We're not there yet for sure. Right? Thank you cards. Let's blow this out. Everybody participate, because again, if everybody participates in the church, and let's just say it's 1,000 people, if I just did one, that'd be 1,000. But imagine doing 10 or 20. That's 10, 20,000 that we could do. So let's all get together on that. Run errands still. If you want to be a part of that whole process, especially as we continue to expand what we're doing, feel free again to email us and let us know that you'll be a part of that. Email us your name, your phone number, and where you live, because we're doing this by area of where people live. And then lastly, share with us the needs. Make known the way that we're helping people. About half the folks that are getting helped, or no, more than half, I'd say about 75% of the people currently are getting help, are not coming to us asking for help. We're finding out about these needs through people and the relationships. So the way that we can help people, it might be you that's going to be the way to help somebody that you know. So share those needs with us again. help@lifepointcc.com. And if you are requesting assistance financially, in some way, you can also text the word CARE, and I'll go back to that one more time. There's that one. Text the word CARE to 803-373-7665. And again, pretty amazing stuff. Well, we're going to transition one more time. Appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying some of these updates. We want to hear your stories. We're collecting all these stories. Also, feel free to share stories with us that you're hearing and stuff that you're a part of. Send us photos, send us pictures, and we're going to start posting those more and more frequently now on Facebook, as that's starting to come in at a high rate. And again, one of these whole episodes, we may just focus completely on stories because they're building very, very quickly. But let's transition. Our special guest is going to share something really, really cool with us. Hang tight. So we have our special guest here, Emily, and she's here to share with us a little bit. We've been doing this every week. What does God have to say about this whole thing? What does God, when it talks about fear and fearing not, what does that actually mean, and what does that look like? So I asked Emily if she would share with us just a little bit about that. So Emily, why don't you share with us?
Absolutely. God has been teaching me a lot about this theme of fear not, stand firm for a long time. He's had to teach me that lesson over and over and over again, I'll have to admit. So when you asked me to come on, I was pretty excited to share what God has been teaching me, and of course what I'm still learning, and what now being in this crazy time is teaching me. So I don't like to brag on Nate too much because, you know, got to keep him humble as his wife. But I will say Sunday, he really laid it out. I mean, I just felt like it was such an important message for all of us to hear right now. And it was a great perspective switch for me, the whole idea of fixing your filter and making sure that you're looking at things through the right lens. And another part of that was just, what are you reporting, or what reports are you believing? If you didn't hear the message from Sunday, just a quick recap, he spoke about Numbers 13, when Joshua and Caleb and the spies went in to check out the land of Canaan to see, you know, was it going to be safe for the Israelites to go? And of course, Joshua and Caleb were the only two that came back with a positive report. The other two brought back a report of fear. And it's just important that we don't believe those lies and those fear-based things that we hear. And so I just wanted to speak from that and just talk about a verse that has really wrecked me over the past couple of years. Because for a long time, I believed so many of the quote unquote false reports or really lies, you know, a lot of which I was telling myself. You know, I would let fear and worry consume me. And some were silly things, like my germophobia or fear of puking or blood. Just speaking of germophobia, I'm just saying, like, I was born for this moment. I have been practicing for this moment.
That's a very optimistic way to look at it.
That is the
All
truth.
my life, really, when all of this started, I was like, bam, no need to change anything. Already washed my hands while singing the ABCs twice. Already sanitized after everything. I have thought through it all. Every surface in my house is always Lysol, bleached, whatever. Bring on the chemicals. I'm all for it. We're going to be sanitized. No germs up in here.
Yeah, the odds that Emily has COVID is very low.
Very low. Very low.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The odds that
She's been practicing this for years.
For years.
ready.
I have thought through every possible way that a germ could enter my body. So I'm good. I am prepared for this. But honestly, those are silly. I've had some real deep fears and anxiety about a lot of different things. And my anxiety a few years back really started to get a grip on my life. And as my anxiety began to grow, it's interesting that my relationship with Jesus was actually deepened. And as I really began to lean into him and just try to figure out, well, what I was really looking for was a quick fix. Like, come on, Jesus, just show me your word and fix me real quick and we'll move on from this, which that's funny in itself. But the verse that just kept coming back to me was 1 John 4:18. And it says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. Now, I've known Jesus most of my life. I grew up in a wonderful Christian home where, you know, God was the center of our lives, and he has been so good, so good to me. And I found myself wondering, like, why am I so afraid? You know, what do I have to worry and fear? Like, why am I letting these things grip me? John goes on to talk about God's amazing love and how we can have confidence in this kind of love later in this chapter. And the word confidence really stood out to me every time I read these verses, because in those moments of my anxiety and fear, I had none. I had no confidence. And what I finally came to understand is what I really had an issue with was trust. I didn't trust God, and I was devastated at this realization. Like, how could I not trust God? He has done so many wonderful things for me. There are time and times again that, you know, he has pulled me out of the wilderness, and still here I am not trusting him. But as he began to pull me out of many of those fear-based lies that I had let myself believe, I really began to trust that God is good and that his love is perfect and that truly there is nothing in this world to fear. God's love brings courage and boldness, just like John talks about, and confidence. But truly, to get to the depths of this verse, you have to read the whole chapter. You got to go back and you got to read. And I'm just going to read one verse that I think just, you know, it just shatters all the fears. And it's 1 John 4:9. And it's a perfect verse for this Thursday, leading into this weekend. It says, "This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. This is love. Not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins." I mean, what can we possibly fear if we have a God who would die for us? Then, of course, the true confidence comes that he came out of the grave. And, you know, that we might live through him, not survive, not get by, not just make it, but live. And that full life we talk about all the time at Life Point comes straight from this. You know, he is here living in us, giving us this opportunity to have this full life. And there's so much right now that could consume us, so many worries that can grip us with fear, and I still find myself falling back into those patterns of fear. And anxiety is something that I will always struggle with, but now I know I have these tools that I can use, that I can go to, a verse that is my rock. I know that, you know, perfect love, it drives out fear. And if you truly understand perfect love, a love that would go to a cross for us and die for us, and then not only did he die, but he came back to life, we have that confidence, that hope. There's nothing that should grip us with fear. No virus, no finances, nothing, that our country's going through. We have a Savior who lives. And I just want to leave you with this final thing. I read something today written by another pastor concerning our current situation that I just couldn't agree with more. And he just said, "It's not lost on me that the sadness of this moment of great crisis will collide with the moment of greatest hope." And that's just where we're at right now.
Yes. So, man, as you're saying that, I had a few thoughts that popped back in. Yeah, you can zoom it back out and get Ridge back in here. So it's interesting that you're germaphobe, because I feel like the two things, and you have a real problem with it. I mean, there's a lot of stories we could tell here.
I knew you couldn't just let that go.
No, but it's interesting because of the juxtaposition between the two. So, first of all, yeah, I mean, it's so insane. I don't even know what to say. We did that little prank on her where we got her to go in and clean the toilets of a
porta potty.
A porta potty. That was amazing.
That was traumatic.
And genuinely, her concerns on the way over there, she's naming things, not knowing what it was, all these things that it might be. And I knew that, she doesn't like frogs. And so whenever she started thinking there were frogs and stuff, I mean, she was going bananas. And so here's the interesting thing about all that I think. The reason that you don't oftentimes trust things like going to a hotel and all the things in there that make you nervous and you're scared about it all is because you don't have confidence that there are not something there.
That's absolutely right.
And the difference is, if we are in Christ and we really do believe that Jesus was raised from the dead, he is who we said he was, this Easter that we're talking about, if he was really raised from the dead, and if we have confidence in that, then we shouldn't be afraid in this moment, because our trust and our hope is in him,
right?
And the confidence in what he's done and in what he's going to bring us in the years to come and in the next life. So it's that difference, and it's a good analogy. Germs are a thing that for some people is evidence that they don't trust and don't have confidence in whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you flip that on its head, is our fear evidence that we really don't have confidence in him?
Well, that's good, because I was thinking too, like just in trust. Like I think a lot of times we think of like, man, it's, if we're honest with ourselves, hard to trust God. But I was thinking the other day, like we trust so many other things throughout a day.
Right.
When you're at a red light, you trust that when it's green, you can go. When you come to sit down in a chair, you just sit down in it and you don't question it. You know what I mean? Like we do all these different little acts of trust throughout the day, and it's like, man, we have a Savior who's so much more trustworthy than any of the things that we fully trust, going throughout our day. So I thought that was really good, Emily, just sharing just the importance of just simply going, you know what? This is an opportunity to put my trust where it belongs.
Right.
That's just such a great perspective.
And it's interesting what anxiety and fear will do. I mean, it completely crushes your confidence.
Right.
Absolutely.
In anything around you, really. Yourself, the people that you love, and then ultimately, your faith and confidence in God.
Right.
So.
Well, I think it's just a timely message, and I know I kind of botched some of your statements there when I just dropped my phone. I reached back and hit my phone, and it fell off, and there was noises. I don't know if it could be picked up, but we could hear it in here quite well. So what I like to do, and I know that a lot of people are struggling with this, and I think that what I would share is, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think if my confidence, if I'm scared and if I'm nervous and I'm fearful, I don't think it's necessary. I think that's a good indicator to say, okay, let's do a check here and reevaluate where my relationship is and who I do have confidence in. And
Absolutely.
What better time than this weekend, right? What better time?
Absolutely.
So here's what I thought we would do. I thought we would ask Emily if she would lead us in a time of prayer. And maybe you're in that situation where you're struggling and you're not sure of your situation, and maybe you need somebody to pray over you. So do you mind doing that for us and praying over us?
I would absolutely love to pray.
Thank you.
Father, I'm so thankful for the way that you love us so confidently and so boldly. Everything that you do is with confidence and boldness, God. You just show up every single time. And for whatever reason, we tend to forget that you're always going to show up when a crisis hits, when bad things happen in our lives, or, sometimes even when things are going real great, we tend to just give ourselves the credit, and we forget when those hard times come that it's you that we can have confidence in, God. So I just pray over anybody listening right now or who will listen, God, that you will just give them that confidence, that beautiful hope that we can have in you because of what you did for us, that Jesus, you died on the cross for us and you came back to life, and we can be confident in that no matter what happens, we have life and full life in you, God. So I just pray again over all of our healthcare workers and anyone really having to work right now and just be out and around people, God. Just put a hedge of protection over them. I'm so thankful for each person who's willing to make that kind of sacrifice. Thank you so much for everyone who has been sacrificially giving and being willing to run errands and help people, God. I just pray that we can keep being the church that you called us to, that we have always been meant to be, God. Help us to just continue to step into that role, Father, and be the light, God, and show people that you are just a wonderful, amazing God. Again, Father, we're so thankful for Easter and everything that it means, the hope that it brings, the greatest hope ever. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for being here and being a part of that. We are going to wrap it up, but I feel like we got to go back before we close, and we got to resolve this thing at the beginning. I've been trying to pull this up on Facebook to see some of the comments, and for some reason this is not going the way I want. How do you get to these things? You see this? It's not showing past stuff here very easily. Anyway, so I don't know what that's all about. So did we come to a conclusion on what it's going to be? Did anybody been following here? Because I can't pull up.
Are we going back to the song again?
I think everyone was happy to let that go.
They were?
Yeah.
Well, we
we
gotta
didn't
make a
really get
decision.
a whole lot of comments on
The
it.
bad choices.
Oh, they didn't?
But I think we can probably land on
Yeah.
the
I think we're
board.
gonna land on the
board.
board one. Is that what we're
I
doing?
guess.
Let's see here.
that's gonna be your song from now on.
Let's see here.
I don't understand how I got stuck with the clearance rack song that Chris picked.
Clearance Rack. It's a great song. You want me to sing it again?
I'd like that, actually.
Me and Ridge are going to the beach.
Lyrics,
it's
the lyrics
country.
are different.
We
this
are
time.
going to the beach. Me and Ridge
Completely
going
different
on a
song.
board out.
Views are dropping.
Going to swimming. We're going swimming out there on the board. Not on the same board, on a different board.
It got worse.
Okay, that's terrible. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Super excited about what's happening in the church. And man, I do feel like even just to kind of wrapping up sort of this concept of fearing not, Matthew Savoy clearance rack song. That is true. That's a great
That
comment.
little bin at Walmart with all the movies that are like $4. That's where you did.
That's where we picked yours at. But you're a clearance rack kind of song guy, right?
I'm a cheap treasure.
You're cheap treasure. That's a good song too. But here's the thing, just super excited about what you guys. I do believe as a whole, people are trying to find ways to be good news here at Life Point. I just want more people. I want more creativity, people thinking like Matthew Savoy and some of the others that we'll be sharing in the days to come. So you guys be checking all that out. Thank you guys for being a part of this podcast. Thank you for listening in every week. Keep sharing your stories. Keep being a part. And we are so thankful for what you guys are doing. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.